up, listeners? Welcome.
Joe,
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Sunday, Mentor.
Hello, everybody. Everyone that's on their knees praying, out in the streets protesting, at home quarantining, wherever you are in your life. Hello.
Yes, awesome greeting, guys. And everyone, thank you so much for just your patience as we work through this. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So first question for you fellas, just to warm us up a bit. What song best describes how you're feeling for the moments going on right now? What song best represents it? Let me start with Mentor.
Well, it's a song with Outkast, Erica Badu, CeeLo from Goody Mob, and Big Roo. It's called Liberation. It's actually tattooed on my neck. And you can feel the soul in it, the civil rights movement in it, the freedom in it. And the word liberation itself means freedom. And it's something that we're all scratching for, craving for right now. When you feel the pulse of our race in the streets, we want nothing more than freedom from it all.
Listen, okay, we might have to listen to that song. Mark, what you got?
I'm going to go with a gospel song that we sang in our Bible class. It's called "My Dependence Is on You." And again, in the environment that we're in right now, that's my only peace and comfort. So my dependence is on you.
Yeah.
Amen.
No, that's right. Chris?
Bob Marley, War.
Give us a couple lyrics from it.
Until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, then everywhere is war.
Hey. Listen, them lyrics are pretty much on point. I'm sure everybody's probably going YouTube real quick. War, Bob Marley is fitting. Joe, what you got?
Now, I'm going to keep it authentic. Before we were live, I said Rick Ross prayer, but I thought about it. And actually, I've been vibing out to, it's two songs. It's Jay-Z, Forever Young, and There's No Such Thing as a Life That's Better Than Yours. I think those two songs right there, they hit home because for one, it's just Jay just reminded everybody that no matter how old you are, you still have a good life that you're going to live. You still have fun. And J. Cole is just letting you know that, don't ever compare your life to anyone else. Just because you may see it out on the outside don't mean that they're living a good life. So there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours.
Yeah. Okay. So some good plugs. All right. So real quick, let me thank everyone who is tuning in. We are so thankful that you are spending your Sunday evenings with us. You could be anywhere in the world. Well, not really anywhere in the world because of COVID. All right, never mind. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. So we want to know, what city are you joining us from? So as you all, for the new folks that are tuning in, our chat is very involved. So if you thought that this was just going to be something that you come and just watch, wait for it, because that chat lights up with conversation just as much. So what we want to know is, what city are you tuning in from? I know we've been getting a lot of support from Dallas. We've been getting a lot of support from Denver, my hometown. Hey. We've also been getting a lot of support, of course, from where we all reside or have reside, which is South Florida. Mark is actually the only one who's in California. I know some of y'all have wondered, why is his lighting always a lot brighter than anybody else's?
Oh, there you go.
Mark is 3 hours behind us.
It's the LED lighting, it's the LED lighting.
It's LED. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and kick off. But again, to the folks tuning in, we want to thank you. We look forward to your questions and your comments in the chat. As a matter of fact, something we're doing different this session, we're going to reserve like the last 5 minutes for for your questions and your comments. So Mark is going to monitor the chat closer towards the end. And we would love to just get your insight and answer any questions you may have. Only two things that we ask regarding, and even the fellas on the panel have been exceptional at this, and for the folks tuning in and joining in the chat, we just ask that you are respectful, and whatever you say it out of love. There's a way that you can deliver your message. We want to build up and not tear down, all right? So,
Amen.
Yeah, right. So let me just throw it back to the fellas really quick, and feel free in the chat to answer any of these questions as well. But what do you like about what's happening in society right now? Let me start with Chris.
I like the fact that it seems as if we finally had the last straw, and people are becoming more aware, and the young white people are just learning the severity and the evil that's been bestowed upon us, and also the after effects. Pretty much realizing that you can't inherit from slaves, but you can from slave masters, redlining, etc. And the bottom line to me is this: they're realizing that white lies are not as benign and harmless as they portray it to be.
Right.
So they're realizing that. I'm just saying to myself, wait till they find out that Jesus not white, nor anyone in the Bible.
Right. That's gonna be something. Mentor, I'll go to you next. What do you like about what's happening right now?
Okay, my like is definitely a shout out. It's a shout out to Chief Erica Shields, who stepped down after what happened last night in Atlanta, where the police shot and killed Rashard Brooks. Evidently, the cop who pulled the trigger got fired, right? Probably needed some backing. Probably said, you know what? This guy took the taser from us. He had the taser, tried to himself. He probably stepped to her and needed her backing on this. She did not want to do that, and she stepped down as chief of police after this happened last night. That's what I like right now.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a like, I would give a shout out again to Chief Erica Shields, who had an ounce of integrity, that said this happened at the wrong time. I do not want to be a part of something like this going on now with these riots and movements, and I'm going to step down.
Wow.
So that's what I like. I like to see stuff like that.
Yeah. Mark?
I almost want to jump on what the mentor just said, and also what I like is the young people that's getting involved and the coalition of different nationalities. I like to see that they're not backing down. I like to see that, one of the quotes I saw somewhere lately said, a person who really understands the law is one who's willing to break it and suffer whatever the law is going to be. When they protested back in the 60s, they knew they were going to be arrested, and they went forward to do it anyway. And they say those are people who respect the law more than anybody else. So I like, so that's what I like. So just to add what Mentor just said, and along with just the youth movement that's involved and the coalition of other nationalities.
Okay. Joe?
The one thing that I definitely like is that people are starting to educate themselves.
Listen.
I know that I know a lot of people may say, man, right now you really want to find out, but it's always ever. And I love the fact that people are educating themselves. And just to piggyback off of what Mentor said, what makes it so dope, what the chief did, is because if you watch that video, you see two brothers come up to that cop and ask him if his family, if he's okay, and if he spoke to his family, and the word verbatim he said was, "I'm glad you're good." And for that cop, for the chief to step down,
yes,
at first it was like, why they're stepping down, but when you watch the video, and you understand, and that's my biggest thing right now is, you know, we have a lot of friends and family that are in the police department, but I think that they need to turn their badges in if they don't stand for what's going on. And I think if that starts happening, I think we'll see a lot of change. I think that's where it needs to start first. But that don't believe in what's going on the police force, don't believe in killings, don't believe in what's, just turn your badges in. That would be more important than what you believe.
Let me tell you something. There's definitely a line being drawn in the sand right now where it's like you gotta choose. Like you gotta choose. You're gonna fight for all this straddling the fence nonsense that white people, cops, everybody has had the luxury of doing for so long. Like those days are really coming to an end. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and just recap some things that happened since the last time we spoke. Remember when we had that brief ESPN moment? Now don't get back into it. Okay, I should have brought my whistle so that when time is up, we transition, because this will not be another. But one thing we did talk about was Michael Jordan and, you know, just some of the other celebrities, what they're doing to impact the cause. And what do you know? You guys spoke up Michael Jordan, and he messed around, or I should say the Jordan brand messed around and gave $100 million to the cause, to organizations assisting Black people with social justice and greater access to education. It's over 10 years span. So I just want to know you all's thoughts. I'll start with you, Mark. What are your thoughts on it?
First of all, Alicia, we have to thank you because Michael Jordan was listening to.
He had to be listening. He had to be listening.
He had
nothing else has moved him in how long?
Come on now. So yeah, that was right on time. That all of a sudden he just. But you know what? This is what I said. I know I made mention of Michael Jordan not being as vocal and visual as I thought he could have been. But with all those who are now coming forward doing this, what I had to ask myself was, well, what have you done?
Oh,
you know, seriously, I don't have the platform that a Michael Jordan or LeBron have, but what have you done? And I think we even talked about something as simple as putting your money into a blight bank. So yeah. I have to tip my hat off to Michael Jordan and anybody who at this point have said, you know what, I'm going in hard, and I'm going in hard. So I tip my hat off to him. I'm proud of him and others who have come forward, no matter what color they've been, to even if you just woke up this morning and said, I got to do something, then you know what, bless you.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel good about Michael Jordan doing that. I think that was a lot. That said a lot.
Okay. All right. Chris?
Yeah, let me go ahead and just echo what Mark said, because I think it's better late than never. And I mean, everybody gets a red pill and stop seeing things at face value at different cross sections in life. So I mean, we need all the help, all the assistance we can solicit. So I mean, that is helping, and that's putting something in the pot, you know.
Yeah, $100 million.
Yeah, $100 million in the pot. Yep.
Yep, we'll take it. All right, Joe.
Well, you know, I was on the Jordan. I was the one on the Jordan bandwagon, so I knew what was going to happen. I mean, but what it showed us was just that the media can really paint a picture to you and make you start thinking a certain way. And it's not just Jordan. Kanye just did it to everyone. And I know a lot of people are still going to try to let that sink in a little bit. But he basically said that I had to put the hat on to get heard and to get Mr. Free out of jail. So what he was saying was the whole time I was playing, and you know, I had to do that to really get my voice out there, to make sure what my wife is doing for prison reform to really happen. And I used to defend Kanye.
Did he though? Did he though? Did he? Really
he did, because they looked it up and they saw that he donated to Hillary. They saw that he donated to Hillary. They didn't see that he donated. They donated to Hillary. And I always knew, because I just don't see a brother going from Bush hates Black people to just supporting Trump. I knew it was something more to it. So I think that we got to really separate from social media. social media and the news that will make people think certain because they're gonna throw things in your face. They're gonna throw things in your face. And one thing you guys don't realize, I don't think not once have you noticed the news has talked about Tom Brady. I don't think Tom Brady has done anything.
Oh yeah, that's what they
He's
said.
supporting this cause, and you notice they're not dragging his name in there.
Well, Joe, I tell you, I took the bait on Kanye. I took the bait. So, bro, you got me stepping back, reevaluating. Because I was getting ready to take his card. So, I appreciate that one, Joe.
I know. Mentor?
Well, two things like jump out at me when I saw what Jordan did. One thing was I pictured other celebrities of his stature because you have upper echelon of wealthy black folks, which would be the Tyler Perrys, the Jay-Z's, and the Oprahs. When I saw Jordan do what he did, I said, wow, could you imagine if all of them was to match him with 100 million? What that would actually do? That's one of the first things that jumped into my mind. But in particular about Jordan, and Joe touched on this about, the image that the media likes to portray in a person. Look what recently just came out, The Last Dance. Now, Jordan was holding on to the rights to release this stuff for a while because he didn't want this to come out. He said once it came out, he said, man, I'm afraid that people are going to think I'm an a-hole by looking at this documentary. And you start to see of some of the things that Jordan was doing while he was playing.
That he was an a-hole.
That will have you go, whoa, yeah, his character is like, whoa, right? So he didn't want this out.
Yeah.
So part of me, not all of me, okay, because I do believe the man has a heart.
Yeah.
All right. Part of me does feel like it is somewhat of a band-aid that he's trying to put on this image. Because he mentioned once The Last Dance come out, he said, man, I didn't want people to look at me like I'm an a-hole. Right? So if you are this a-hole, figure of speech, if this is you and you got, a spare $100 million laying around. Listen, I'm quite sure the man gave it from his heart because he sees what's going on and he sees. I'm not saying he's not human. He feels. Anybody that wants to win that bad, you know what I mean, loves life. You got to love something about people, to donate that kind of money. So kudos to him doing it. I'm just looking at the timing. The documentary drop.
That is interesting timing, but I will say that pressure is being applied to a lot of people, a lot of corporations. So it's not too much of a surprise. On the same topic of Nike, so glad to transition out of, that part. On to Nike. So they joined, Vox Media, Square, and Twitter, and announced this week that they are going to incorporate Juneteenth as an annual paid holiday. What are you all's thoughts about that?
I think Nike is just going to jump on anything that's going to keep them relevant. I remember they dropped Colin Kaepernick, they re-signed him in the heart of him doing a protest a couple of years ago. So I just think that no matter what they do, they're going to always find a way to stay relevant when it comes to their own brand. It goes, Mentor just said that a lot of people are getting pressure, but Nike knows what to do and when to do it to make sure their brand, because it goes back to the Jordan thing. It's not Jordan releasing those shoes and making a limited pair. It's Nike releasing those shoes and making a limited pair. So they're kind of contradicting what their vision is and what they're trying to do. So I just think that they have perfect time and they know what to do as a business.
Chris?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everybody's sentiment. I think it's just nothing more than a PR stunt, and they got an ulterior motive. As usual. They really don't care. You get what I'm saying? But honestly, guys, I don't even care if they care. You know what I'm saying?
Don't say it like it's scary.
Nope, I don't care. Just put some money in this pot.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all.
Really.
And just comply. You understand? People haven't been caring if we care for how long? As long as we comply.
True.
Right? So that's all it is. We can't take our eyes off the big picture here. I don't care if you care. We have to have a director type personality right now and just focus on the goal. We're not in the relator type personality right now, relating over here. I don't care. Understand what I'm saying? Just give us what we need
to
for
stay
us.
the course.
Right.
Mark, anything you want to add after that, or was that a mic drop?
That was a mic drop.
Okay. All right. So moving on. I was gonna ask if you guys.
I have something to say about it.
Go ahead.
Okay. I believe that Nike is aware that reparations, you know that word?
Mm-hmm.
I believe they know that reparations is on the way for Black folks one day. I think they see it coming. So I feel like Nike said, let's declare Juneteenth, you know, a national holiday, so they can see that we're on board with them, because
they're
gonna get their what did you say, Chris? They're gonna what?
We're gonna spend.
I'm done with it.
Yeah. No. They know they need that black dollar.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into that in a little bit. We're gonna get into that. Do you all plan on, I'm curious, do you plan on celebrating Juneteenth? What are your thoughts around the hype around Juneteenth? Not the hype, I don't want to call it the hype. It's just that because we're becoming more educated now on our history and we are a lot more vocal about the injustice, will you all be celebrating Juneteenth?
Lisa, can I take that? Because when I heard that they were trying to make that a celebration, and you know, and I'm thinking the first thing, I don't want to say the first thing Black's gonna do, but most days are gonna be spent going to spend money, right? If this day is gonna be made, first of all, no, I'm against it. I'm against another day. We don't need another Martin Luther King Day. We need action. We don't need no more days being set aside for some celebratory
to pacify.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a pacification just to see. We gave y'all a day. Like, no, we don't need no more days. We got a whole month to throw it in that month. We good. So unless it's going to be spent towards education or reform, if you're going to have a June 10th, let that be a day of, okay, on that day, maybe 100 prisoners are being released out of jail who's on a death row for no reason. Let it be towards something that's really showing, let it be something that you really look at and say, okay, I can't wait till that day come around.
Yeah.
But as far as another day off, no, we don't need another day off for any type of visual memorial display. I am totally against it.
Okay. Anyone else want to add?
I want to see them minus days.
Would you say, Chris?
I want to see them subtract days, like Columbus Day, and don't make no more tragedy a holiday. If you want to give us a holiday, give us a holiday of greatness. When Black people in their greatness, I don't want to hear no more. Oh, you're suffering and you're gonna celebrate. Nah.
Because there's so much greatness.
Take away all them little white supremacy days. Start acknowledging that your heroes are tyrants. Start doing that, and then I'll say you're not talking through two sides of your mouth, because you can't tell me you're sorry and then you're praising the tyrants in the next breath, in the same breath.
Exactly. Chris came ready. Joe?
Yeah, I think it's time for them to rewrite the history books. Yeah, I'm not really down for one day. I'm not really happy with Black History Month.
Right.
I think I echo what Ice Cube said. I think we've been suffering so long that we shouldn't pay taxes. I think we write the history books. I think we need to get rid of Christopher Columbus. I think we get rid of 4th of July. I think we need to get rid of all these holidays that don't represent unity. Until unity, nothing will change, because they're giving us the day on the 19th, but 2 weeks later it's the 4th of July.
Right.
And we're back to the same thing. And then after that, it's going to be Labor Day? We're back to the same thing. Then Thanksgiving, or even Halloween, and then Christmas, we're back to the same thing. So until they eliminate February being just 1 month where they represent us all year. Do it like they do the Indians, and no knock to the Indians, but give us our own, tax-free and those things. Make appreciate what we've done, because if you really think about it, Black people are behind a lot of things that go on in this world. It's just that we've been stepped too long, so we don't get recognized.
Right. All right, Mentor.
First, I want to say I do not knock any Black person who chooses to celebrate Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. Let me clarify that now. I just view it differently. Now, secondly, I'm going to quote something that Jay-Z said on the Meek Mill's album. Say Happy Thanksgiving sound like a murder to me. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, with that said, let's take a look at the day after, where they want pretty much everybody to spend money on, right? What is that called? Black Friday.
Black.
So I had this theory, right? I had this idea, my mind is always turning, right? So they stole the land from Indians Thanksgiving, right? Want everybody to spend their dollars the next day and calling it Black Friday. I said, let's steal Black Friday. Let's take the name. Let's eat and gather with family on Black Friday. Spend all of the dollars, Black dollars, with Black people. Just hijack the Black Friday.
Oh, hijack right? the Black Friday. I like that.
Now you're talking millions upon billions of dollars that would have went into these stores. It's now going to us on Black Friday. How about we steal it because y'all calling it Black
just
already?
Because you called it entitled it that, which is stinking at. Oh, hijack Black Friday. I'm with that.
Be a hashtag right now.
I'm with
we should get some shirts.
Hold on, we're gonna have a meeting after this call to iron out
Mentor,
those details.
No, that holiday I'll celebrate.
Right.
I actually spoke about this already to a few people, and I was like, man, let's just start gathering with our families and eating and doing us on this particular day, because y'all calling it Black already.
You should patent it.
We're gonna rebrand it. We're gonna rebrand it. And all right. As a matter of fact, we're gonna talk about the Black dollar. Before we transition though, did you guys get a chance to see Dave Chappelle's he did a session this week on Netflix titled 846, the amount of time that the officer's knee was on Mr. Floyd's neck. And it was the time that he was born, which I found to be very unique. But it wasn't like typical Dave Chappelle. He was coming with some. What do you all's take from Dave Chappelle? Let me start with Mike. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. So should I step away?
Yeah, you
no,
stay.
I'm just talking. No. My son already told me. He gave me a little bit about it, but I have not seen it yet. But I'm still gonna listen. And I'm still going to see it.
Listen, that's a must. Joe, have you seen it?
I caught a glimpse of it. I haven't watched the full thing, but I've heard some great reviews on it. So I definitely will check it out after this. But I did watch it when you sent it to me.
For the folks in the chat, if you have not got a chance to watch Dave Chappelle's, it's a strong 27 minutes on YouTube. It's great. Mentor, you watched it?
From start.
Talk to me, Mentor.
Finish.
Talk to me.
First of all, when he's obviously most of our favorite comedians. So we're preparing ourselves to laugh when we like, okay, he knows we need to laugh at something right now. Mm-hmm. The timing of it. So I didn't really know why he called it 826 yet, right? Mm-hmm. This man didn't come to tell jokes. This was one of the first times I've seen Dave Chappelle straight up vent about what's on his mind. And Chris Rock normally comes with a lot of political jokes to kind of open up people's minds. Chappelle was no lube. Straight to what was enraging him. And you can hear the silence in the audience. Mm-hmm. Okay. You can hear a pin drop in there. And he repeated how long this officer had his knee on that neck. 8 minutes. And he was tipsy too. Chappelle was drunken and
He really was.
but he almost fell over the stage and kept saying 8 minutes. I knew then that he didn't come to play.
No.
And through the duration of it, yeah, he made you laugh because he's naturally funny, but he did not come there to tell jokes at all.
Chris, did you get to see it?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing.
What's your thoughts?
I agree with Mentor. Boy, he was pissed. He was venting. I mean, I managed to laugh because he's still like in certain intervals he gave a little joke but I like the fact that I like how he addressed the Coon of the Year, Candace Owens, right? As an articulate idiot. And I know I mentioned it before that not because you're intelligent and you're articulate mean you're smart, you're wise. I also like the rat-a-tat-tat part because honestly, Tupac said it, when the cops rush, I don't trust them, so I bust this, okay? Right? Also, who else? Charlemagne, I heard Charlemagne said one time on MSNBC, was encouraging us to be armed, firearms, and learn how to use it to protect ourselves. Because let me tell you something, it's not cool, but let me just tell you something. In Jamaica right now, because of this George Floyd thing, because I mean, it's not a race thing in Jamaica, but it's an oppression on the poor. So wherever you have police, they always get to the people who are marginalized. But they have about, I don't know if it's about 9 police dead right now. And what they said is, we're not playing this George Floyd-ish. That's what they said. They're not gonna let them step on their neck.
Right. Wow.
I heard that.
But at the point, at the end of the day, this is it. I would rather be in prison fighting it than allow you to step on my neck for 8 to 9 minutes. That's me.
And even he talked about the grief of seeing the other officers with their hand in their pocket, like just the arrogance around knowing that you. Anyway, I'm not gonna go in.
I think you're breaking up.
Yeah, your feedback. You got bad
see.
feedback right now.
Hey, Leash froze up.
I think she's gone.
Uh-oh.
You mean it's just us, fellas?
We're still
we
alive.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, we can hear you now.
We're still live.
Can't see you yet. We still live.
Yeah, we still.
I got nervous.
I see a picture.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know who that is, but okay.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay, now we can
perfect.
see you.
Well, let me just go to the next question while I try to troubleshoot. Okay. But in your opinion, what are the 2 biggest accomplishments for Black people, let's say in the last 15 to 20 years?
You ready?
Yeah.
I only see the accomplishment in the last 15 to 20 days. I don't see an accomplishment really in the last 15 to 20 years. And if you really want to tell me about, oh, we had a Black president and all this crap, all right, that's not an accomplishment to me if you couldn't do anything for Black people. Not because you're in a position, this is anything to me. So no, just the fact that no, we're promoting and talking about blackout days and like an economic base. This is what I really want people to talk about all the time, is our economic base, because we're such a powerful consumer as a people. But it's a perfect start, because I mean, this can manifest into tangible results.
Agreed. Okay, Joe?
I gotta echo the same thing that Chris say, man. I'm not gonna say 10 to 15 years. But it goes back to what I said earlier, man. Just the fact that we're starting to educate ourselves, man. I'm seeing people that, I'll shoot dice with or play spades with, talking about what's going on in the world and starting to read up on stuff. And it's like you have to sit back and say, okay, now we can have different conversations, now. Let's put the dice down. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about our future. Let's talk about our youth. And it's really now they're the ones, and that's the movement that we needed. We needed those people that was stuck in that ghetto mentality. When I say ghetto mentality, I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm just knocking the mentality of thinking that you can't get out. And now we're seeing people that feel like, you know what, I have to make a change. I have to do things differently. I can't talk to people. I can't let anyone talk to me and feel like they can just get away with it. I'm gonna stand up for myself. So if that means me walking out on my job and standing up for what I stand for, then I gotta go and I'll find another way for my family.
Mark, Mentor, you guys want to
add? Yeah, I would say one of the biggest accomplishments. I know you guys don't agree. Well, some of you don't. I know Chris has said he don't. I'm going right there. Was the election of our first Black president, and I'll tell you this, and this is where I fall on that. I mean, there's some things I wish he would have went in and did, but I know that was a fine line of what he went in and what he had to do, because he didn't have the support of what I think if Obama had went in with the mindset that we had hoped he went in, he wouldn't. I think he went in with what he had to do, being the first Black president. He did what he had to do. Chris, stop. So I believe that's exact. I believe he has now. He's made it possible now for a Black person to get into the White House and do something different. I truly say that if you didn't have an Obama, if you didn't have the first Black president, we would not. There would be no way of knowing that we can get in there. Just like when
it's true.
Who was that? The basketball player, the Boston Celtics, or not him, the Henry, the baseball player.
Henry, I don't know baseball. Sorry,
Hank Aaron, and Hank Aaron and his manager was calling him nigger. Told him that you're the first Black person on the baseball team. Depending on how this go, whether or not this will happen again. So you're gonna have to take a lot of flack. You're gonna have to do things that people are gonna be like, man, you just step and fetch it. So I think Barack, the class that he had, the calmness that he's had, he was a perfect person for that position, for the first Black president. And you all have to understand this also. He won a game that we weren't even allowed not to play. We weren't even invited. That was never supposed to happen. And that happened, just happens. I mean, again, I know it's from the hand of my Heavenly Father that was meant to happen at that time. But everything was just ripe enough for that to happen. Because any other time, that would have not occurred. So that is, to me, one of the biggest accomplishments that we have made in the last 15, 20 years.
Okay. Mentor?
Okay, so because the question was the two biggest accomplishments, right? Off the bat, I really, 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 really love when LeBron James opened up that high school in Akron, where kids who graduate get scholarships, and he even has plans in place for parents who don't have any job placements. For the parents, like, are you kidding me? What other high school that you can think of is doing something like that? And because of the amount of ridicule and pressure and under the magnifying glass that LeBron James is under, what he's doing there with that school, I feel is getting kind of overlooked sometimes. When they talk about it, you hear great things about it, but it's just something about that name, LeBron James, that people just go, That's one. Okay. Second, down here in Florida, when the Amendment 4 bill passed to restore the rights to felons to vote. I personally know I have a lot of friends. I'm a poet, so my activist community is very broad. I'm seeing them on social media lobbying and campaigning for this Amendment 4 vote. They're like, man, y'all don't understand. You know, thousands of black people are gonna have the right to, you know, be able to put. And they drove up to Tallahassee, you know what I mean, in groups to make sure that they pushed for this one bill. And in the grand scheme of things, we all know how rigged elections can get. We are aware of this. But what it showed me, it really did show me that if we can come together on something the right way for the right cause and do it in a tactical fashion to where anybody getting hurt, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's a time for brute strength and Nat Turner, and then it's a time for finesse. So they were able to pull that off, and the bill got passed. And those are the two things that can stand out, you know, in the last 15 to 20 years with black folks. And I'm gonna end with this one last thing. Let me put this on you guys' mind. Let's go back to New Jack City, 1985. Okay, Nino Brown, and how terrible the city of New York was at this time. You also had on the West Coast, where you at, Mark, you also had this time Ice Cube coming out with songs like what? F the Police.
F the Police, yeah.
Now, F the Police, they were on stage telling him, do not sing this song. They went and sung it anyway, grabbed Ice Cube, put him in the paddy wagon, and beat him up. They asked him, you know, why did you even write this song? No, because he kept seeing, you know, his homies in the hood getting beat up for nothing. Let me tell you the difference between New Jack City 1985 and June 2022. The difference is cell phones. Everybody has a smartphone in their hands right now that they can whip out and hit record. Now imagine if they could do that back then when Ice Cube came out with F the Police. Imagine if we all had that power to whip out them phones. So nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is this revolution being televised. Smartphones.
There it is. All right. Question for you all and the folks in the chat. In a month's time, how often do you buy black? So in a 30-day time span, what do you think is your percentage, or how often are you buying black? And are you intentional? Well, I guess the first question is, are you intentional about buying black, and how often do you buy black?
I don't think we should put a number on it. I think like for myself, I always try to support like this right here. I always want to support my brothers and sisters. So it's not just buying, it's just supporting. Like, you know, like this opportunity came to me, and Alicia, I think when you asked me, I was like, let's do it. You know, because you my sister, you know, I go to churches. If somebody's starting a church, like my brother Booker, you know, I'm gonna go to it. And I don't like pastors. But if my brother's starting a church, I'm gonna go celebrate it. So I'm not a number on what I support, but my first preference is always trying to support the small black businesses because they're trying to grow. Because there's some blacks that we support that don't support us, and we can't.
Okay, Mark.
I would have to go with Joe. I know I don't buy as much as I could. I know I don't support as much as I. And that's what I meant by what I said earlier, that I've had to look at myself, like, what have you done to help with this movement, even the smallest of things. So I would have to say, I don't have a number, but it's not as much as it should be. It's a small amount, but I support, things such as this. My daughter has a online business. Me and my ex-wife used to have a hair and day spa that we catered to a lot of minorities. So yeah, not as much as I can.
Okay, that's honest. Chris?
I mean, I can't put a percentage on it. I agree with Joe on that. But I do it quite often because, I mean, I'm down here in South Florida, so I support a lot of Black-owned Caribbean restaurants. I support soul food restaurants. It's Black-owned. You know, even the Licking franchise. like friends like you, anybody come up with a little business or something like that, I support. Even like I know someone will have a printer, so I just support her all the time because of the fact that she's Black. But I mean, it's, I would say a good amount, but it's just because of the fact that not everything is owned, Black owned. It's, you know what I mean? It's everybody else in our community because they never really push that narrative. And, you know, let me just say this real quick. I know we don't have time, but let me just shed some light for Mark, okay? As far as like Obama or none of these people pushed us to have an economic base, okay? The only thing they push us to do is vote and vote shaming. Voting has done nothing so far without an economic base. Why is it that none of them is pushing an economic base? And for the fact when people say, oh, Obama couldn't do anything because the powers may be, before Obama even became president, he was approached by real Black leaders, okay? And the person who actually shed the light on that was Tavis Smiley when he was with the Tom Joyner morning show.
Yes.
He shed that, because first he gave him a chance because the Black leaders were telling him he is not one of us, okay? And he was like, no, I'm gonna give him a chance. Now, when he started to shed light on the Tom Joyner morning show, of course, Tom and Sybil and them, right, kick him off because they're so way up their butt, Michelle and all that stuff. So the thing is, this was already in the making before. And why is it that he fought so much for the LGBT community and nothing for us? And want to say, whenever they say, what did you do for Black? Well, I'm not the president of the section of America, particular section of America, right? And then Steve Harvey come in now, he's not the president of the hood, Mr. Big Ass Coon, okay? But I'm just saying, coons don't help us. Not because the White House is called the White House. And Stephen in Django was in the house. How did he help? He didn't help. And if Obama was president today, we would not be protesting the way we are right now. And that's the reason why I wanted Trump to win, because we were too comfortable and we were too pacified.
Wow, that's a great point.
Even the friends now, when I used to tell them, say, yeah, glad Trump win, right? What? No, they're actually seeing what I'm saying, because everything was swept under the rug and Trump just come and peel the onion. This is who we are, okay? And right now, America is embarrassed on the world stage because they're the ones going around policing the world, talking about humanity and all this stuff. And now the world just witness a slow death. That's the difference. The rest of them quick. They witness a slow death of torture, and they witness white supremacy at its peak. So that is the reason why America is really embarrassed right now. How are they gonna go out and talk about you're a role model right now?
Right.
You can't.
Well, Chris, I would say this then. If it wasn't for Obama being like, I'll tell you this, a friend of mine said, Obama is responsible for all the racial tension that's in this country. And I'll say, you're absolutely right. And this is what I mean by that. If it wasn't for Obama being president, the white supremacy that you see right now would have never risen up to do the things they're doing now. Donald Trump would have never became president with the platform he's running on. If it wasn't for Obama, when Obama became president, those people who thought Black people should never be in a position like that rose and started doing things that they thought they was in control of. They came up to that cream rose to the top. And that's why Trump got into office, because when he said make America great again, if that's not a blatant sign of saying let's make America white again. But if there had not been a Black president, you would have never seen a Trump make it in. But
I agree with you 100%, Mark, but that's still indirect.
But I still say you're absolutely right. I still say that was the biggest accomplishment in the last 15, 20 years. Whether or not we agree with the policies, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Alicia, could I say something real quick, man? I understand what Chris is saying. And it goes back to really, if you guys listen to what he said, he's telling you that they gave us Obama to kind of shut us up for the meanwhile. Obama really didn't do nothing for us. What people are forgetting about is Al Gore. Al Gore was talking about all these things when he was running for president, and they cheated him. They They cheated him. He was too advanced for what was happening because he was the one that really was going to make a change. So they gave us Obama. Kanye came out and said, we're still trapped in 400 years of slavery, and they ate him up. But he said what Chris just said, our minds still think that we're still lower than everybody else. But really, we've been stood up, and we've been fought for what we stand for. We've been understood how powerful the Black name is or the Black person is. We would not be in these type of situations right now. If you guys watched the video last night, the drive-thru at Wendy's was packed, and not one person got out their car, tried to break it up. Everybody watched it, and all of it could have been avoided. But people are so eager to film things instead of standing up and do what's right. But then they're the first ones that's going to say, "Let's go protest." Well, you had a chance right there to stop something. Believe that if any one of those people would have got out the car last night and would have jumped in front, tackled the guy, or jumped in front of the police with the times they're in right now, we would not have a killing right now.
Good point.
That's right. 10 cars in there. 10 cars in the drive-thru. 10.
That's drop the mic, Alicia.
It is. It is. So Black businesses, we can make a intentional decision to buy Black. It's great that we are supporting by showing up, by offering our assistance, by being available. All of those things are equally important. By sharing their businesses, liking, commenting them on social media, you know, bigging them up. I got to give a shout out to just a couple of them off top. Healthy Soul Vibe, got to thank you for your self-care manual. It's this guide on just how to take care of yourself, very practical 30-day applications. As you know, it is Mental Health Month for men. I didn't know that about June. So if you need a Father's Day gift, you know, you can look at that. Another one, Bonding to the Beat, specializes in toddler music enrichment. Super important for the moms at home or dads at home that still want their kids to be well-rounded. That's another one. I got to give it up to Blacklisted. That is literally a platform that brings together other Black businesses. She actually introduced me to Broward County Black-owned businesses, and joining that group has exposed me to almost anything I need in Broward. I was able to find a Black-owned hair store. I was able to find a Black-owned repair guy for my door. Like, it's being intentional about those things, right? Because we can Google, but Google is not going to show you what you might need to know. So I just want to give a quick shout out to some of those. I know I didn't remember everyone, but it's going to be more of that.
Yeah.
So really quickly, these times have really shown the power of the Black dollar. What do you think we should do with that power? Like, what would you, like, if you were to start a movement or a nonprofit to give back to the community, like, what should it be? So this is just a time to kind of dream about what you would want to, or how you would want to impact your community. And it looks different for everyone. So I'll start with you, Mentor.
Yeah, because I didn't get a chance to chime in on the last question.
Oh, which was, my bad.
Which was,
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, listen, that was a drop mic segment. My jaw is still on the ground from some of the things all three of them just said. So I go with the flow. You know what I mean? But the question was about, do I spend my money, you know, enough money circulating in the Black community? So I'm going to just tie both together. No, I don't do enough. I'm going to tell you right now. I got lazy, and I think for most Black people, the closest Walmart to their house gets hit up so much. I've been hitting up this Walmart way too much for me to say that my dollars go to the Black community. Now, I'm Caribbean, I'm Bahamian. Every now and then I go to Jamaica House. I love me some oxtails. I go to Lynn's Kitchen. Shout out to my family, Lynn's Kitchen, that has a restaurant on Pembroke, you know, off of 95. And when I want some conch or fried conch or whatever, you know what I mean? So as I'm eating that, I'm feeling like, yeah, I bought black. But it's way more than just, the Caribbean food. So if I was to like try to come up with a specific game plan, the first thing I would try to think of is how many of us black folks with money are able to have one uh, community store, a store that has as much of the things that Walmart has as possible. Because if you just walk into a Walmart, whether it's an employee or a shopper, you're looking at about 88% black in there. I travel the country a lot too, and I'm talking about even in the white areas. The majority of the black folks that you're going to find in these white areas are in the Walmart. So if we could find a way to kind of, boycott the systematic juggernaut known as Walmart, found a way to corner the market with everything a black folk need, from the Pampers, they just found a way to do it.
Yeah.
So we need some type of supermarket, man. Like you said, you could put it into Google, black-owned supermarket, or you can ask Alexa or Siri, and they're gonna be like, "I don't understand.
I don't understand.
I don't understand."
I know.
And I'm dying to trying to find something like that, because I would, without a shadow of a doubt, I would find a black supermarket because our everyday needs is how you're gonna circulate that black dollar.
That's a good one. So those of you in the chat, if you know of a black-owned supermarket, go ahead and plug it for us. We always check the chat. We would love to have that information. Mark, what about you?
And the question was, what things would we to help the black economic?
Yeah, so the power of the black dollar, like what would you want to do with that power? Would you start a movement, a nonprofit? Like what would you do to give back to the community?
That's a good question. I don't know where I would begin other than putting people in place. And this is the misunderstanding that people have when it comes to politics, because we only come out to vote every 4 years. And when we think about our local politicians, we just bubble that little dot up, and we have no idea who's our chief officers or the judges, whatever thing we have locally. I would want to put the power in educating those in the local areas of who the people are who are immediately your superiors or your leaders in your community. It's so many places that it could go, because we need to be in a place of power. We have plenty of blacks with money, but do we have enough of them in a position of power? And that's where I would like to kind of I would put my efforts into, of local people in political positions, judges, the courthouse, school teachers, principals, superintendents, somebody who has the mindset of helping out the young black minds.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I build on that? Because I totally agree with what Mark is saying. But I think before that, we'll have to actually just get this economic base established. And then after that, we can form a special interest group like the rest like everybody else has. And then we're going to have real, true, and real political influence. Not what's going on now. Not with the 80-20%. I keep 80 here and I take the 20% and I put them to the table and I give them board meetings and they feel good and and then they just sell us out. Also, I want to address this with Black Power. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but we really need to check the FCC, because remember what Mentor said one time? It's programming. Stop telling us, allowing the music on the air for us to sell drugs and to kill each other, because we cannot say we're going to kill a white person or we're going to kill a Jewish person on air. So no murder is allowed on air. No murder is allowed. Why is it allowed? By the FCC. And this is programming. So you're programming us to hate each other. Right? And then we know that a rapper cannot go. What kind of psychological Dysfunctionality is this, where we know you cannot go up there and say this, but I'm saying this. So we need to use our Black power and check the FCC because they're a big part of it.
Okay, Chris, so I see you got some plans to establish the Black economy and the power and to reprogram.
Long time.
Yeah, long time. Joe, what you doing with your Black dollar and your movement?
Well, I don't really believe in a black dollar. I believe that, always, support your people first. Like me, every Sunday I go to the swap shop. It might be white owned, but there's a lot of Caribbean people out there that's trying to make money with their fruits and stuff. So I don't go to Publix or Walmart or the farmer's market. I go to the swap shop to get my fruit and stuff. And that was something that my mom instilled me early, and that's just to give back to those people that, are brothers and sisters that's trying to make a dollar, But the biggest thing, we got to take dollars out of it. The biggest thing we have to do is educate our youth. I've been saying this 3 episodes in now that it's always about educating our youth. And that's more powerful than the dollar.
So what does your setup look like? Let's say tomorrow morning you're given the opportunity to do just that. What would it look like?
I mean, teach them about, the justice reform. Teach them about certain things that we're talking about. Teach them about what's right or wrong, because we can't stop someone from going out there and buying a Chevy or Dodge or buying Jordans or LeBron, but we can teach them about, hey, save your money. You don't have to go buy there. You don't have to do this right now. Save your money, invest. Stock market. The stock market is getting ready to go up. Don't go buy those sneakers. Put 100 aside, put it to Hertz. Hertz is at $2.87. The most you could do is probably lose $20. But if you can invest 100, and by Wednesday you could probably make 800. Take it and stack it up. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to do is teach our youth the knowledge, because without that knowledge, none of this even matters.
Joe, you know what I love about your idea is that it's free to get started. Like you could literally wake up tomorrow. I could design you a dope flyer. I wouldn't even charge you. Right. But what you're talking about is free to get started. And a lot of what we want to begin to do, it's free to get started. It's really just getting started. We might look and want the handout and I'm one of them where money was always blinding me. Like, how am I going to do what I want to do? I don't have the resources. I don't have the access. But once you get started, you'll be amazed how God meets you in the act.
And that's so true, man. And it's not even about, it's never about money. Like, I'm gonna shout out, a thing. I don't know if anybody out there got kids that are trying to, get into sports or learning sports, or even if anybody wants to get in shape. I got a childhood friend, a good friend of mine who has he calls it hard but fair. He puts all his money into it, and all he does is just constantly promotes himself, and he's doing it with the money out of his pocket. He's not in there, he's going through the trials and tribulations, but he's always trying to grab the youth, and he's trying to show them. So after every workout, he goes to the Black business and go buy a sub. He goes to the Black business, go buy some ribs. He goes to the Black store to go get their haircut. Let's have a car wash in a Black neighborhood. So she's teaching them the youth. And then for us, it's always remembering that, we were young at one point, and I know a lot of us coming up, we didn't have that person that really told us what's right and wrong. We saw it on TV, and because we didn't have YouTube or those things, what we saw on TV was raw and uncut. So we knew what was right from wrong. The youth these days, they have too many different platforms, like TikTok. I just found out the other day, TikTok is not supporting the Black Lives Matter. You know what? TikTok always brings out their Starbucks. Starbucks is not supporting Black Lives Matter. Chick-fil-A, they're not supporting Black Lives Matter, but just reminding our youth that, hey, I can't tell you where to spend your money, but think about the bigger picture. Yeah, you're 11, you may not understand, but don't be 16 and still not understand.
Something that I learned in that Broward County Black-owned businesses, one of the owners of that chat went back to their high school and was able to do a career day at that high school. When we hear career days, you might think that they're still happening, right? Wrong. Yeah. They hadn't had a career day in years. And she pulled on a couple friends and was able to show these kids what it looks like to be a doctor, lawyer, entrepreneur, which is the biggest and best one to exemplify. But again, that doesn't cost anything to show up and to just show and explain and teach what you know. So we'll be connecting.
Leash, true story. I went to a career day 3 years ago at my nephew's elementary school. And, you know, we worked for Comcast, you know, those things. I was just a supervisor, but I still took part because I had the youth. And I went around the room and I asked the kids, what do they want to be? And then I went to the teacher and I said, teacher, what do you want to be? A Black teacher, what do you want to be? And she looked at me, she said, I am what I want to be. And I looked at her and I was like, you don't get it. You just put yourself in a box. And you just taught your students after I just told everything that it's okay to just settle with being a teacher. You know, instead of saying, I still want to be this, so maybe I do want to go back to school and you know, pursue my dreams because the book is not closed. And that's where we mess ourselves up. We have too many people putting themselves in a box where they think that it's okay to just stop right there. No, it's not okay to stop right there. Keep going. Keep going.
Hey, Joe, can I ask you a question though? But what if that was her dream, to be a teacher and just to be someone at the forefront of these little kids' mind, and that's all she want to be?
Chris, if that was her, sorry, Mark, if that was her dream, she would have spoke with it with passion, but she didn't. She sat there and nodded her shoulder and said, "This," like it was like, "Oh, it's just this." Trust me, if it was her dream, she would have been like, "Man, well, my dream was always to be a teacher, and this is what I did, kids." And yeah, what he's saying is right, but she didn't say that. So you know if somebody's doing something that they really want to do. Like Mark, I watch you and Chris, you know, train techs as great as you guys were in the field. Mentor, I watch you put up these quotes every day to have people believe in what they want to believe in. And y'all know me, I'm going to tell anybody they can do it. So we're going to talk about things with passion. When she said, yeah, teacher, that wasn't her passion. She just settled for something.
Okay. Yes. All right. So in the chat, I want you to begin getting your questions ready for us. I'm going to throw one more out to the fellas before we jump to the chat. So how do we keep momentum during this time versus it just being a temporary moment?
Let me answer that last because I want to close out with something.
Okay. All right. I'll go to Mark.
To keep it out in the forefront, you know, people were saying, somebody was making mention that they were tired of looking at the video of George Floyd. You know, at one point, they were just showing it back to back to back all day, every day. And they were saying, you know, they want to get tired. They just got tired of it. It was starting to become, what's the word? Complacent, not complacent, but, you know, I get through looking at something so many times, it don't have that effect on you anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And the person said, no, it needs to stay in front of us to remind us of this is what everything has culminated to, that officer can put his knee on your neck for 8 minutes with his hand in his pocket and don't feel like that nothing's going to happen to me. Mm-hmm. So to keep the movement, I think we need to somehow someone in a position with a platform big enough to keep it out in front of, hey, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted with this June 10th holiday celebration. Don't get distracted with all these other things that might stay focused on what has got us here. Stay focused on police brutality. Stay focused on the justice system. Stay focused. So I think it's going to take someone just really keeping that out in front of us and not letting it get watered down and not letting us become complacent with having seen it in the amber, that flame, that was a hot flame, starts cooling down because you just saw it so much. Yeah. So it's going to take just staying in front of us with that, with the passion that we had from day one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Joe?
Repeat the question one more time.
How do we gain and keep momentum during this time versus it just being a temporary moment?
I think we need to educate ourselves, and I think we really need to open our eyes and understand, like what Mark just said. You know, don't lose sight of what's going on right now. You know, they're going to throw different things at us. They're going to throw Drew Brees in the media. They're going to throw what's going on with this. They're going to throw, you know, keep showing George Floyd's video of him killing, but let's not lose sight of what's really going on. And that's right now, as Black people in this world, we are in power right now. Right? And it's not that we weren't in power, but now you can see it. So when you walk with your head high. When you talk loud, with your chest out. Don't mumble, don't look down, don't do anything. Understand that as a Black person in this society right now, it's our time to really step on their chest and keep our foot on their chest.
Okay. All right, Chris?
Well, I agree 100%. So we have to keep this moment. We have to keep like platforms like this. But I want to say fair warning, because Joe said this. They're going to throw all kind of stuff at us, right? And this come in the form of coons. So be careful, because I'm talking about the League of Mommies like Oprah, Gail, all these people. They're gonna throw them. So let me just help you out. We need to start Gucci shaming, Versace shaming. If you're hearing stuff that don't support, like Joe was saying, you don't support any Black cause, we need to research that. We need to educate ourselves on that. So, I mean, basically, how you can, because sometimes it's so tricky because the devil is tricky, but there's a proverb. There's a proverb that says, you know a tree by the fruit it bears, right? So if you see a person in a Black body, don't just look at the Black body. Look at the message, what the person is saying, what they're relaying to you. Look if it's a way to pacify you, a way for you to settle down, a way for you to cut the momentum and distract you and deflect, because that's what they're gonna throw at us next, because people have a tendency to forget and move on. So we just have to keep this going, keep the message going, keep the platform going.
I like that. And you know what, in the meantime too, it's super important to teach the youth in this time, you know what I mean? So that that momentum can't die out, because they're raised knowing what it is.
They're the future.
They're the future. They're the now. They're the ones on the front line at these protests. So by encouraging them and building them up to continue this fight, the torch can easily be passed down, like it won't be burnt out. All right, Mark, do we have any questions before I jump to Mentor?
No, just a lot of comments, no questions.
Yeah, give me a couple comments out there worth mentioning. I'm sure a lot of them are, but let's just tag maybe 2 or 3 of them.
You asked me that now. I was trying to pull, I can only see 4 or 5 at a time. I'm trying to see why I can't see more comments.
No, it's okay. Let me jump to Mentor. So Mentor, okay. I know you got something for us.
Yes, so what should we do moving forward, correct?
Yes. How do we keep this flame going?
One thing about what's been going on, because I brought this up about New Jack City and back in the days. I wrote something that's kind of pretty timeless, because it's still going on in the streets today. And I wanted to give people a forecast. It's called Eventually. It's about what I feel eventually would happen.
Okay.
So here we go. From the womb to the tomb, everything else in between is a rat race to get the green or debit or credit. Your food is synthetic. Patience is tested, spending most of our lives sitting in traffic and staring at a phone, paying for houses that rarely turn into homes. Eventually, the drones take over. Freedom of speech is now a security breach. Social media be dry snitching while the feds listen, and they take notes, steal quotes. Revolutionaries give hope for the future while generations rap about shooting you. Eventually, computers will take over. We're already hostages, not relying on our own knowledge. Let me spell check the word college just to see if I got it right. These student loans end up taking the rest anyway, eventually. My degree in honesty got my master's attention. He then blessed me with love, so I'm not a bachelor anymore. Most of these women are attracted to fitness and hardcore, but unfortunately, eventually, most of these men don't want to be men anymore. But boys and their toys. The Pokemon soundtrack is drowning out the noise. They can't hear a poet like me performing passionately from the heart. Eventually, I'll start my own business. Blowing kisses to say goodbye to a slave mentality. Cut my losses on the rest of them, eager to kiss jackasses. But my job is to wake up the masses. Class is in session. I'm teaching how I used to get sucked in, but now I'm laughing at distractions. And eventually, they'll come again, and I'll run again. Only this time it's in the opposite direction. These drug pharmaceutical companies be pitching while too many are catching the flu. Walking STDs want to have sex with you. Looking healthy and standing right next to you. Could be a long night when your type is the umpire behind home plate calling the strikes. If you fall in love with gold diggers and switch hitters, eventually you'll get the relief pitcher. Pitcher currently grooming Mr. and Mrs. Cox to keep our eyes on the ball and hitting it out of the park. This world is out of the norm. They'll label you out of your mind for staying woke and spitting conscious all of the time. Eventually, God will shine light on all of this darkness, giving sight to the blind and peace in the hood and food for the hungry and epiphanies for the dummies. No ifs, ands, or maybes. The people want conviction for police brutality. And I can hear them now. What's gotten into mentors? See, I don't fear them now, but they can keep my poetry near them now. I don't discriminate who gets this work. Eventually, some feelings will get hurt, but as long as my strategy works and lives get saved and history's made and changed and came and so many tried to stop me from dreaming, that's why I stopped leaning on my own understanding and trusting in God. See, I tried trusting in man, and eventually they tried to extort me and deport me, but my poetry was so dope they had to snort me. The school of hard knocks taught me about severe consequences. Loyalty taught me who sincerely fights with me in the trenches. Burning all of my bridges eventually left me lonely. And having epiphanies showed me who all was phony. And moments of clarity sometimes showed me that it was me. Eventually, I'll become a better me through honesty. Eventually.
Woo!
Hey, mentor, that one topped the man working on the chain.
Hey, thank you, Virgin. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I really like that one. So
that one?
Yeah.
How long ago did you write that?
That is on my 4th album, Epiphany. I wrote that in immigration, detained at Chrome 4 years ago.
Wow.
And that was the first poem that I wrote in there. It's so relevant now.
It's so relevant.
Very relevant.
But listen,
well, you could have said you wrote that yesterday and that'd have been like,
it don't even matter. But be careful, because it's so dope, you might want to snort him.
I cannot stand you.
I'm listening.
Mentor, that one was it.
No, listen, I'm working on a piece called That Poem, and it's about all of the current, like I haven't even touched on anything.
That poem was about all of the current.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about something new. It's just not ready yet. But
all right, we gonna
I'm glad you're doing this every Sunday. I'm glad you're doing this.
Y'all pray for me, okay? Every Sunday. But no, that one was incredible. Yeah, we needed that one. Mark, let me jump to you one more time. Do we have any questions in the chat that we should get to before we conclude for the night?
I would tell you that, so we got just people in here just making comments. Essence Williams has been with us throughout the evening and just said, said it's powerful. You all are talking that shit. We have some stuff in there from, and so she also chimed in on when we was talking about our Obama conversation. Essence Williams like to let the room know that Obama had to clean up Bush's shit. So the hand he was dealt and what he signed up for made him look like he failed, but that melanin alone is an accomplishment. So I just wanted to share some of that. We also have other people in here, such as Yoki Holiday, Yaski holiday.
Okay.
Said this is the land of Black entrepreneurialism, and we should also do our part to support each other.
Agreed.
So we have a lot of people listening and just put adding comments to what we're saying.
That's great, man. That's amazing. That's great.
So here's a confession to the folks who are watching and or in the chat. As soon as we break from this, like we go straight to the comments to see like what the vibe was. So just so you know, like you all in the chat are very much a part of this conversation through your feedback or insight or questions. It has helped the next session of That's What He Said. And you never know who we're gonna pull from the chat to be a part of this very panel here for a session or so, you know? So we just want to thank you guys for vibing with us. Fellas, I got just one more question for y'all because next Sunday is Father's Day. Help us out. What are some gift ideas that daughters, sisters, wives, friends of great fathers, what can we give?
A day of relaxation. I think it's just so wrong that fathers have to barbecue on Father's Day when mothers get taken out to expensive restaurants. I don't know how does that work.
Oh,
I'm not sure how that works.
That's great insight, Mark, and I'm sure our viewers will definitely appreciate.
Yeah, so a day of relaxation. You know, just I mean, you know, at least I would say this: know what your man or what your father want.
Mm-hmm.
And it might just be maybe family time, but just like I don't think a lot of thought is put into Father's Day. I really don't.
Yeah.
And it can't be a Mother's Day without a father, right? So just like we take in consideration what our moms want, we know what our wives and our mothers want, and we take time to get that. I think it ought to be reciprocated. Now, you know, what do my dad or father want, and let that be your present or your gift.
guide. I like that. Okay. First time and newbie father, mentor.
Yeah, because I understand what it feels like now.
Yeah.
To be a father. I'm looking past any momentary gifts because gifts come and go. So I want to, you know, give a suggestion to all of the mothers out there who are going through it with their child's father. Sometimes the gift that you can give that father on Father's Day is the child. It's a lot of fathers out there who will be dying just to see or spend time with their kid, and you know, for whatever reason the relationship didn't work out.
Whoa, Mentor, don't give us too much this week, bro. Don't give us too much yet. We got next week to chop this part all the way up, because you know it needs slicing and dicing.
That gift, I'm quite sure fathers will want more than any momentary gift.
That's strong. Okay. Chris?
Well, you know, congrats, mentor, but I've been a father maybe about 25, going on 26 years.
Chris, I was gonna say mentor the new father, so give him a couple of years, he'll change all that.
Yeah, I understand the passion. So, but get this now. I want, just give me what the hell I want. Let me do what the hell I want to do. If I don't want to do anything, leave me alone, okay? But stop telling me what you want me to do. It's really what you want to do. Now you want me to do what you want to do. You get what I'm saying? Like my daughter is telling me, oh, yeah, lion safari. I don't want to do that. I don't know what I want to do yet. You know, but she's telling me it's really what she wants to do, what she thinks I should be doing. But let me, if I just want space,
give me that.
Yeah.
Chris, we hear the passion. Joe, you are definitely a father figure to many of the youth that you coach. What do you think is a good Father's Day gift?
Well, Father's Day is, to me, I'm normally to myself. Unfortunately, my dad was killed in Jamaica by a police officer.
Oh man.
Father's Day is a touchy day for me, but I do salute all the fathers because I think a lot of the work that the dads do go unnoticed sometimes. I see it on a daily thing. One thing I may recommend now in this day and age, maybe if things were different, I probably would say was right now, instead of getting that tie or that gift like Chris say, taking them line, Chris Safari, put some money in some stocks for them. You know, invest, put that 100, 150, 200, find a stock and invest in it. You know, make that money double, man. Right now is the time to invest. You know, and this is how we're going to get our name out there. We're having to double our worth.
That's a good idea, Joe.
Great point.
Okay. Look, Mark's like, I still want that expensive.
And sorry, hopefully I can. I just want to give a shout out to a couple of Black-owned companies. I know y'all want to say it. First and foremost, that's what he said. Make sure you tell your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that every Sunday, 7:30, tune in. It's free. You're not paying anything.
For now,
until we blow up. We will get Hollywood. Also, one of my brothers, he got a lawn service, John. I have a teacher. I have a Blackout Entertainment DJ. Hard But Fair, one of my childhood friends. They're doing those things. We got Monster Subs in Oakland Park. One of my old teammates have a sub shop, and it's just back to the Black community. So I just want to give them a huge shout out on this platform. Also Blacklisted.
Blacklisted.
I watched that. I watched it. I remember the idea being put in front of me, and you said, Alicia, and I sit back and I watch it now. I do see where it is very beneficial. So also Blacklisted. If you don't know about it, go check it out.
Nice.
All right. So we got. What'd you say, Chris?
Sorry, mentor. And please, all right, when the coronavirus stop, whenever y'all get the flight,
listen, front
row center, first drink on me. If you there, first drink on me.
Listen, yo, mentor, we gonna come through so Hollywood, like it's gonna be like a entourage. I'm gonna get a fake fur for the night. Like we gonna roll in so blatantly obnoxious at your first show when we go back live.
First of all, the four of you have a special place in my heart because of what we've been building. We got off track with the matching without letting people know. You know what I mean? We're gonna get back on track with that one day, right? But no, God definitely built something solid here. So solid that we got thousands of people watching and looking for answers. And we healing them and we educating them. And I agree with Joe. I'm starting to see a lot more people waking up. It's because of forums like this, believe it or not. The very thing that you think people ain't paying attention to, that's what they're paying attention to.
Hold on, mentor. I have to share a compliment that I got the day before yesterday. One of my girlfriends, Tamra, she actually mentioned this to me in passing. So remember, I don't know if it was last session or the session before, but we talked about Yahweh. So Mark was talking about Yahweh. Chris was talking about how the letter J is a new letter in the, how old is the letter J?
500 years old.
500 years old. So you remember that whole conversation we had? So it's funny how the conversations that we have here are creating conversations elsewhere. So even her and her husband began to have a conversation around Yahweh and teaching her and her daughter. And so I just love that it doesn't stop here, but people are taking questions and answers and perspective shared here, and it's going other places. So again, I can't thank you guys enough for being transparent, because I think without that, this would just be another thing. It's really the men being transparent that allows this to have the impact that it has. So
because you can't fake experience.
You can't fake experience.
Real quick. I just want to say something. Thank you, Joe, for telling me about Monster Subs, because we're in Oakland Park, is it?
That's what you stopped that for, Chris?
No, I mean, yeah, and then I'm going to add something too, because I just want to tell you guys, if you don't know already, you can go ahead and follow Dr. Boyce Watkins. He has a Black financial school of business. Since, Joe and we were talking about upping your financial IQ, which is not in elementary school or high school. You get what I'm saying? You have to pay for it. And he actually offers programs to help.
Wow.
Hey, Chris,
this is a real Black.
Put that information in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Alicia, Alicia, I want to share one thing from Andy Darrell. Said the autobiography of Malcolm X is on back order. This is from Andy Darrell. The autobiography of Malcolm X is on back order, just to let you know how people are paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
That autobiography is on back order, right? That's how many people are looking. You know, this movement has really got people stirred up.
It's picking up. Oh, all right, guys. Well, until next Sunday, you all be safe. To the folks that tuned in, thank you. And we look forward to vibing with you again this time next Sunday. Be safe, and everything that you do, please do it out of love. Thank you for tuning in, y'all.
Hey, peace and Yahshua, you guys.
Right.
See you guys on Father's Day.
Yeah.
Bless up.
Yep.
Bless
Happy
up.
Father's Day to one and all. To Sam also, Alicia.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.